Hello, and welcome to part 2 of the Tkinter art program tutorial. In this video I want to get some basic shapes on the screen. I want to get some points. In the last video I kind of glossed over what this main loop command does. It's basically like a while loop that just keeps updating the events. So don't put stuff like after this because it's not going to run inside of the init method. So if you've ever tried to do any graphics programming in Java or C++, you'll find the event handling in Tkinter to be pretty simple and easy to use. There's a whole bunch of bindings for all sorts of events just built in, and what we need to do, we need to make we want to put some points. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make some instance variables for the display. One of them is going to be the actual coordinates of the vertices, which is what I'm calling the points. And then one of them is going to be the canvas IDs. And those are just going to be lists that we're going to add them to as we plot them. And I understand I could use a dictionary for this, and I do use a dictionary for something similar to this later, but these parallel arrays seem to work fine for this. We don't end up doing a whole ton with them anyway. So we want to make a method to actually make the points. And we could put that above init here. And we're going to want to pass in the event that that is occurring, which is we're going to make this respond to left click events. By the way, you can make some doc strings and these are cool because you can actually access these from the command line. Which, if I can remember how to do it, I will show you in a little bit. But this method, we're just going to want to add to the vertices list that is holding the actual coordinates, the x and y coordinate of the left click event that occurred. And we're going to make a size variable so we don't have to hard code it a bunch of times, and that way if we need to change it, then we can change it pretty easily. Oh, and this appending, this is just a way to add something to it's like extending. Like you have to add another list to a list, and then what we're wanting to do is we're want to add the point inside of that. So that's why we have this list inside of a list here. And then at the end of the list, for the canvas IDs, we're going to add the canvas ID of the oval that we're going to create inside of the argument for this. And the reason for that is because the canvas method create oval, which we're inheriting, it returns the ID of the canvas object that we're making. And we're going to push out the size in every direction. So we're going to go minus on the X, minus on the Y, and then plus on the X and plus on the Y. Yeah. And then finally, we want to make a fill for it, which is going to be the color that it ends up being. Right now we're just going to set that to black. And that's good stuff. So we have that set up. We just have to set up the let me put this a little bit bigger here. Oh, by the way, I did that with Windows plus the Windows button plus left or right. We'll do that. So what we need to do finally is make a event handler in the display to handle putting those points on the canvas when the left click happens. So we're going to do a binding here, and we'll do it right here. We'll go I'm not used to this keyboard. I haven't used this computer in a little bit. And then you'll see here we don't need to pass in well, we never need to pass in self, but we don't need to pass in the event either. In fact, we really can't put any arguments in there. Otherwise, as far as I understand, we have to make it an anonymous function if we want to put arguments in there. But at this point, this should work. So we'll give that a shot. And there we go. We got points on the graph. And what I want to do is I want to make this so when I click these, it'll be like making a line and then filling the entire thing. And I want to map out all the keys to different colors. Right now, though, I'm just going to keep it black, keep it simple. We'll get into more colors and stuff in the next video. So to do that, we're going to need to next thing. We're going to need to make a shape class to make that possible. And my shape class I want to put near the bottom, right above this. And I want to do this because I'm going to want to do a lot of things with these shapes. I want to add a lot of methods to manipulate them, rotate them, scale them, duplicate them, do all kinds of cool stuff with them, move them. So let's just get in the knit method in here to construct the class. And we're going to pass in the points that we want to make the polygon with, and we're going to pass in a color to color it, and we're going to pass in the display. And we're going to make some instance variables so we can access these later. And in the ID, we're just going to make the polygon. Because it's going to return the ID of the canvas object just like the point did. And this is another thing that we're inheriting from the canvas. And that might be enough for now. I think that's enough for now as far as shape goes. We're going to need something to trigger making the shape though. So to do that, we're going to have to make a get keys method because I want to trigger it with the keyboard. We wouldn't have to call it get keys, but and we're going to pass in again the self and the event. This we're going to keep real simple for now. Later, I'm going to make it depend on what key, but right now I just want to make a black shape and keep it at that. So we'll do. Oh, we got to do a make shape method though first. And we'll do that in the display class also. Because we're going to call this inside of get keys to this is just gonna handle basically making the polygon. So we're only gonna actually do it if we have more than 2 vertices, because you can't really make a polygon with only one or 2 vertices. And then we're going to make the shape. And we're actually going to copy copy our vertices to do that. Because we're gonna pop them off in another method, which I'll be making just about right after I make a dictionary and the display class, or not the display, yes, the display class in the init. I want to make a dictionary for the shapes, so that we can store the IDs and the actual shape objects. And we'll do that with, we'll just call it shapes, and then these little curly brackets like that denote a dictionary. And so then I can go back to here and make the and I can't remember why I made this a string. I'm gonna assume I had a reason for doing that. If not, I'll go back and fix that later. Oh, I need to make that method as well. I need to make a remove points method so that as soon as we make the shape, those points that we plotted down disappear, so then we can start making some more shapes. And I'll put that right up on the top here. And this is just a little trick. Anything that's not 0, I believe, is counted as true. So you can do like while there is still a length, just pop off what's in the list. It just kind of neatly pops everything out. I'm sure you could probably just use like a clear or something, but this works also. Yeah. And this is the method for getting rid of the canvas objects. This will actually delete it from the canvas, because the delete method is inherited from canvas, and what we're giving it is the ID of the object that we want to delete. So we'll give it self dot the vert ID, and we're just going to pop all of those off as long as they're in there. So that should be good now, and we can go back to making the shape and call that method. And then we can get back to get keys. and call the make shape. And we'll just pass in, well, let's do red for now. Make it different from the vertice color. And we need to bind the bind the key event here. So we'll do self.root.bind. We'll bind this to be any key. So we'll just put angle bracket key. And we'll call her get keys. We'll not call it, but pass it in. It's almost like passing in like a variable. And theoretically, I believe this should work now. Almost worked. I had a typo. It says display object has no and remove points. Verts. Excuse me? Oh, I did it more than once. There we go. So now we got shape creation. And pretty soon we can get this going with all kinds of different colors, and we'll be able to move these and duplicate them, make all sorts of patterns. I'm thinking about maybe doing fractal images also. If you have any suggestions, I'm very open. But yeah, I think that'll do it for this video. Thank you for watching.